I'm not really one for war. I'm a simple man with simple pleasures. All I ever wanted was to run my businesses in peace. However, sometimes one's hand gets forced. No longer can I sit back. No longer can I watch as these pathetic excuses for rulers run these lands into an early grave. The Kuziat menace are becoming too strong. They now own over half of all Calradia. They must be stopped. And if no one else is gonna do it, I guess I'll have to. So I set out. Just after getting married as well. I know, quite the honeymoon. But she seemed to calm down after I told her that her present is Calradia itself. So we set out. One of the first things I had to do was to get more men. But not just any men. I needed men of the highest caliber. I needed the elite of the elite. This was the only way I could hope to stand a chance against my enemy's overwhelming advantage. So that's what I did. I traveled from village to village, gathering as much manpower that I could. But that's only the first step. After gathering a fresh batch of troops, our rigorous training began. Battle after countless battle, we hunted bandits, hundreds of them, but with every battle, the men grew stronger and stronger. We were becoming an elite force, a force the likes of Calradia has never seen. Sure, the kings and lords would amass their armies of militia and average troops, but in our case, we were a corps of elites, and the Kuziats were soon gonna learn how elite we really are. At one point, we even struck a little bit of a gold mine. We came across a band of looters and took them out easy enough. However, it turns out they had a nice batch of elite Imperial troops as prisoners. And that was it. The final nail in the coffin. With this extra influx of elite troops, it was time. Time to take the war to the Kuziats. But before I could declare all-out war against them, I had to get my industries out of their cities. So that's what I did. I sold my businesses and relocated them to the prosperous city called Dunglinis. Now that my industries were safe, I sent word to my caravan leaders and told them to be on the lookout, because all-out war was about to break out. With all that said and done, it was time to make the first move. To start this war, I decided our best option would be to attack their supply lines, starting with their caravans. The war officially broke out during the 11th of winter, 1091. We struck one of their caravans, starting the bloodiest war Calradia would ever see.
Bowmen! Cavalry! Bowmen, stand upon! Archers, forward! Woodmen, for the shield wall! Forward! Cavalry, move! Infantry, forward!
With this victory, it cemented the Khuziit's fate. From this point on, they were living on borrowed time. And this battle would later be known as the battle heard around the world. After the war was officially on, we continued to strike caravan after caravan, hoping that the damage to their supply lines would sufficiently weaken them, allowing us to capitalize on it. Their caravans stood no chance against us. No matter how hard they tried, they just fell, one after another. But in the process of decimating their supply lines, we were amassing a huge fortune. Some say war is nothing but destruction, nothing but death and misery. I'd be inclined to agree with them, but I can't deny the vast fortunes we were accumulating. To be honest, we were making more money than any of my businesses ever could. But somewhere deep down, I felt as if I shouldn't be doing this. With my children just being born, I couldn't help but think about all the other children, the brothers, and the families I was destroying. Was this the right thing to do? I racked my brain, pondering this question. But I came to the conclusion, if I ever want this world to be at peace, with a happy populace, then I'll have to do it myself. I can't trust any of these so-called kings to do it for me. So with my newfound resolve, we continued to strike. We found ourselves raiding a village when it happened. 2 lords came at us in the middle of the raid, so we were forced to fall back, and in all of our overconfidence, we fell into a trap. The lords managed to bait us out, and then converged on us. It was a 2-on-1 fight, however. They didn't take into account how strong we are. Up until this point, we've only taken out their caravans. This was the first taste these bastards truly got of us.
Move! On earth! Move! Infantry! Move! Archers! Stand apart! Forward! Footmen! Move! Form a wall! Move! Cavalry! Forward! Stay close!
we routed them with ease. It's at this moment that I believe the Kuzits truly realized the absolute hell and nightmare that has been unleashed upon them. With morale through the roof due to all of our recent victories, the men were becoming very confident. They began to sing songs about how we were undefeated and unbeatable, and how we'd, well, do things to their mothers. I won't go into any more detail about the song. Anyway, I decided to run with these heightened spirits, so we once more struck out, but this time, we weren't going after caravans. We were going after their lords.
Archers! Form infantry! Move! Cavalry! Move!
It was another easy victory. I was starting to think that this great empire of theirs was nothing more than an illusion. That this whole thing is barely holding on by a thread. Who knows? But as we continued raiding caravans and defeating lords, a daughter was born to me. I now had 2 kids, a strong son, and a beautiful little girl. And it was at this moment my own mortality began to haunt me. I thought to myself, I could die at any moment. Any one of these battles could easily be my last. But if I am to die, then by God, I'm gonna leave my children an empire. The war has been raging on for about a month now, but what happened next, I couldn't believe. I found my wife's father, my father-in-law, a once proud Vlandian lord, now serving the enemy. I couldn't believe my eyes. It made me sick. So naturally, we took him down. Although he really did employ some, well, to say the least, strange tactics. He really seemed to want to climb that mountain. I don't know why. He just really wanted the high ground, I guess. It's like he thought if he got it, I'd just randomly burn up and be half dead or something. Anyway, he didn't have much men, so we easily defeated him. Now that he's in my custody, well, you know what we do to traitors. We execute them. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna kill my own father-in-law, jeez. We're just gonna ransom him back for money. It was soon after this encounter where I realized an abundance of activity near a town that the Kuzits recently lost. I had my suspicions of what was going on, but unfortunately, we had to deal with another one of their generals before we could get a closer look. After defeating yet another one of their sorry excuses for a general, we pressed forward to see that they were indeed trying to retake a town that they had lost earlier. But on top of that, it seems they did retake a nearby castle. And upon further inspection, the scouts reported that nothing but a skeleton crew was guarding the castle. It was decided, we're gonna take this castle. So, we headed to a nearby town to gather supplies for the siege. Once done, we headed on back to the castle. However, scouts did report that the Kuziets were nowhere to be found, and the once active siege is now gone. It was our time to strike. We set up the camp and began preparations. A few days passed and it was quiet. No enemy activity was reported. We finished the camp, and now all there is to do is take this castle. So there's a few things I wanted to say before the video ends completely. If you guys want to see more videos like this one, where it's more like narrative and kind of like RP focused, I guess, let me know. Or if you'd rather have them just be the traditional like gameplay like the previous, I think 13 or 12 have been, or if you would like rather have something kind of in the middle, like a combination of the two. So like a little narrative stuff here and there, as well as your typical gameplay, which is probably what I imagine what most people would probably want. But do let me know in the comments what you would prefer to have. Also wanted to mention though, the reason is I don't normally use this music anymore is because my videos do get claimed when I use them. Although I still use them here and there to just emphasize, you know, the video and stuff. Without paying the subscription fee to use the music every month, it does get claimed. There's no like negatives to getting claimed by the people who produce the music, but it's just they do get claimed. Obviously it gets demonetized because it's claimed or whatever. So because of this, I am going to be advertising the Patreon once again. If you do want to support the channel, Patreon link is in the description. I'm thinking of trying to do some sort of rewards with the Patreon. I'm thinking of maybe I'll name my kids after some of you. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. But if you do want to support the channel, you want to pledge $1 or whatever, Patreon link is in the description. You know, if everybody who watched this video put up $1, you know, there'd probably be a decent amount, and I could actually get the subscription, and then I could use that music without getting claimed or whatever. But anyway, if you want to do that, feel free to. If not, enjoy the content, and I will see you in the next episode.